Meine sehr geehrten Damen und Herren, sehr geehrte Frau Ministerin, sehr geehrter Herr Botschafter, Monsieur l'Ambassadeur.
Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, ministers, ambassadors, colleagues of the Grand Est representation, colleagues of the European institutions, dear guests, I'd like to wish you a very warm welcome at this Baden-Württemberg representation in Brussels, and I also wish you a very warm welcome on behalf of the Chancellery of Baden-Württemberg. Welcome to you all. We are delighted to host this conference, which is organized in the framework of the French presidency of the EU. It is my pleasure to welcome you all, and it is our pleasure to host this conference here. A few years ago, Germany held the EU presidency, and we were hoping to host a few conferences in these very premises. Unfortunately, the pandemic prevented us from hosting these events, hence our pleasure to host the conference today here in the Baden-Württemberg representation building. So once again, let me all wish you a very warm welcome at our conference. I would like to thank all the partners who've contributed to organizing this conference. This afternoon and tomorrow, we will hear many presentations, many workshops on the hydrogen technologies. The title of the conference being How to Decarbonize Europe Together Beyond Borders. It is a very promising theme. It is a topic in which France and Germany are true pioneers in terms of hydrogen technology applied in many topics. And the region of Baden-Württemberg wants to be a true pioneer of the hydrogen technology. From a scientific point of view, our region holds many promises as we host many research institutes. So we host technology institute as well as a specific research center working on hydrogen and solar energy. And these research centers are very useful when it comes to the fields of transport, storage, and the use of hydrogen. And we hope with these research centers to set the basis to continue the promising work and to be up to expectations when it comes to the promises held by hydrogen. I think that research has a cross-border role to play, and we also know that regions have a cross-border role to play. And this is what we are going to tackle in the next 2 days. I wish you a very fruitful conference, and I will now be giving the floor to the French ambassador here in Belgium. Welcome, sir. Thank you, Minister, Vice President of the Grand Est region, President of the Baden-Württemberg representation here in Brussels. Thank you very much for attending this very significant event of the French presidency of the EU. This conference is dedicated to the topic of hydrogen, and we are delighted to co-host this conference with the Grand Est region. Thank you very much, Sor, for attending this conference, and thank you for putting so much energy in preparing the conference. And I also would like to thank the decentralized bodies of the Grand Est region. Thank you, Minister, for being here. I also would like to thank Mr. Bodo Lehmann, who's the chair of the Baden-Württemberg representation within the EU. Thank you for your kind words, and thank you for hosting us in this lovely premises. I'm very happy to be here in person after 2 years of lockdown. I also would like to thank the very many co-organizers and many partners who've been preparing this event for many months. This is the case of the Maison Marie Curie of the Grand Est region. I thank the French Embassies in Switzerland and in Germany. I'm also thinking about the French institutes working in the Netherlands and in Luxembourg. Hydrogen is a key topic when it comes to when we deal with the energy sector and with the issue of climate. These are international issues, but Europe is particularly keen on analyzing such issues that have a strategic relevance. We know that they have a massive impact on our capacity to adapt and to take up the various challenges that they are today, all the more in the backdrop of the war in Ukraine, which is a neighboring and friendly country that we truly support. We are delighted that so many of you are attending our conference this afternoon, and I'd like to thank you for being with us. I'm very grateful for your participation and for the participation of many political players that have a relevant role in the field of research and of policy making. A few months ago, Emmanuel Macron, the French president, stressed the key importance of developing clean energies, and he also stressed the importance of hydrogen. He stated that we should launch this battle for energy sovereignty. He said that France should be a leader in the field of green hydrogen within 2030, the idea being to devote 1.9 billion euros to the research into hydrogen within 2030. It is quite clear that we need to move towards a new energy model. This holds true, of course, for France. And this is a debate that we have opened in France. I know that the same debate has been opened in Belgium, but also in Germany, throughout the country. But I think that the regions and also have a key role to play. We need to highlight and stress the links that regions have together and the opportunities that arise in working together on the field. The IPCC report was published in February, and it stressed the need to invest in many key sectors. First of all, in the sector of energy transition to reduce CO2 emissions and reach within 2050 all the objectives that we have set. Decarbonated hydrogen is a molecule that will help this transition towards a greener society. In order for Europe to reach its carbon neutral objectives, Europe must be innovative and strengthen the cooperation between regions, research institutes, because I think that we all face the same challenges. Today, we will pave the way for further exchanges, and we will launch the basis of what we hope to be a future European hydrogen ecosystem. Minister, I think that in Europe we can rely on many skilled players, many scientists, many business people, a new generation that holds promises, a young generation of researchers, and by gathering together all these skills and competences, we are able to open this dialogue between the various representatives of the research center, and altogether we will define a common research program. This is the red line that we have followed in preparing this event. During these 2 days, we will hear presentations made by frontline experts. We will tackle the importance of innovation, the role of trees, the role of support to research will also be tackled. We will highlight many innovation research, and you will be lucky enough to see them in these premises. I am sure that this symposium will pave the way for new innovations, and I'd like to thank all the speakers. Now, in order to guarantee the follow-up of this event, we will be launching a new mobility scholarship for scientists, and these grants, these scholarships will be granted to young researchers working in Belgian labs. They will have the opportunity to pursue their research on hydrogen in France, the idea being to boost these exchanges, to make them more frequent, and to identify new holders of these scholarships. And throughout the program, we will support anyone who would like to favor cooperation between France and Belgium in this key sector. I wish you all a fruitful afternoon, and thank you. I'd like to thank you for your attention.
Monsieur l'ambassadeur de France en Belgique, Madame...
Ambassador, Minister, ladies and gentlemen, I am very grateful to the Baden-Württemberg region. I am not the Vice President of Grand Est, but rather the Vice President of the Grand Est-Europe. And the Grand Est-Europe House was created to join forces among various institutions to make these players even more active within the European framework. For those of you who are familiar with the Grand Est region, this region has borders with Switzerland, with Germany, Luxembourg, Belgium, and I think that today there are representatives from all these countries and from countries beyond our borders. We have a strong industrial background and we want to continue the industrial activities of our region. Significant transitions cannot stop at borders, and the policy of the Grand Est region is being decided with our neighboring countries, but also with various industrial players and on different fields, hydrogen, energy. These challenges are not new. Democracy, healthcare are nothing new, but what is new is the depletion of resources within our planet. For more than 30 years now, the reports of the IPCC have warned us against these hazards, and I think that we have waited too long to act. We have waited until the situation started to deteriorate. We know that there is no straightforward solution to these main challenges. We cannot be satisfied with a transition. We need to implement some kind of evolution. And I think that decarbonation and decarbonizing Europe is truly useful. But in order for these decarbonation to be helpful, we need to cluster together various players, academics, research centers, region. I think that your attendance here highlight the importance that you give to the topic. Now, a political transition occurred in 2020 in the field of hydrogen. Strategies were adopted by many EU countries such as Germany, Luxembourg, Belgium, but also by regions such as Baden-Württemberg and the Saar region. Massive investments of dozens of billion euros have been made, and they tackle every dimension of hydrogen with results expected by 2030.
With research, production, and so on, the use for transportation also, and obviously there are many commonalities between those strategies. We need to act across borders. We still have many challenges, but the hydrogen issue is not a debate anymore, because in the 90s, for example, many industries had invested in hydrogen and then they had stopped doing so, and we kind of forgot about it, and then we didn't put it forward, and what we did was just lose time. Today, it's not a debate anymore. Hydrogen is a major element of the energy transition, and we need to make it the clean gold of the 21st century. Because I think it's not green or black, it's just an element that will allow us to keep respecting our...
Comme cette nuit entre le Soleil, la Terre et la Lune, aligner les stratégies de nos territoires entre elles, aligner impulsion politique, recherche académique et développement économique à toutes les échelles. Je crois que c'est cette volonté qui nous anime aujourd'hui ici. En tout cas, c'est celle de la région Grand Est. Et je vous remercie de votre attention. Et j'invite Madame la Ministre à prononcer son discours.
C'est de l'ingénierie.
It's smart engineering. Thank you.
Monsieur l'ambassadeur, Monsieur Lehmann et Monsieur le vice-président Mutzenhardt et liebe Gäste, je suis honorée d'être aujourd'hui parmi vous.
It's an honor.
Le cycle de conférences sur l'hydrogène et sur la manière dont cette petite molécule
It's a
joue un rôle, j'en suis certain, dans le bassin Rhin-Meuse. Un rôle dans la transition énergétique, décarbonisation de nos industries lourdes et aussi dans la création d'emplois locaux. Qui venaient de la Belgique, de France, de l'Allemagne et parfois même de plus loin, c'est parce que nous avons les yeux fixés sur une molécule fascinante, l'hydrogène, une molécule qui est à l'origine de notre univers, qui aidera à déterminer.
It's a molecule that will help us determine the future of our planet Earth. This is the smallest element of the scientific board, but it has a very big impact on the transition at the world level. And this is why I'm here with you today. It's because I'm convinced that it has a really big role to play. It's been many years that the hydrogen has been in the center of our energy transition. And I think that having greener energies is essential to protect the future generations. This horrible war in Ukraine clearly indicates that energy transition goes even further. It's also about protecting our current generation. It's also about national and international peace. Obviously, fossil fuel using give some countries too much power about using. It's a really direct threat. Europe depends about 40% for its use of natural gas, and in the past Russia has already stopped giving gas to Europe, and it has done so also in a recent past with Poland and Bulgaria. And now they threat about just cutting their provision in Europe. Fossil fuel prices have skyrocketed all over the world, and even before February the 24th, when Russia invaded Ukraine. And what is the result? A huge transition, a huge pressure on individuals and businesses all across Europe. Here in Belgium, just like in Europe, the federal government has taken measures to help individuals face this energy challenge. Until today, 3 billion euros have been given, but it's a short-term solution only. What we need is a long-term treatment, and the energy transition and renewable energies are a long-term solution. The real truth here is that in order to protect our economy against international threat, we need to make our transition faster in order to reach a cleaner future. And obviously, green energies and hydrogen play an important role. We all talk about electrifying our systems, and renewable energy is the most efficient solution in order to fight against the threatening trends. Here, the electricity sector has around 30% of emissions. The big industries use many carbon fuels, and they play an important economic role. And today, they also produce very important materials for the transition, such as plastic, steel, and so on. And producing those materials, we need fossil fuels. We need fuels. And in order to have a greener production, we need green hydrogen. We also have the promise here of having a green hydrogen that will help us break free from our dependence on other stakeholders. Belgium, this very small country regarding France or Germany, has many interesting aspects. We have a central position in Europe and many havens in Europe as well. We have the capacity to invest in research in our territory. We have many positive elements also to be transit post for green hydrogen in Western Europe. Last year, we presented a very ambitious strategy regarding hydrogen. we have 4 pillars, notably the creation of a strong hydrogen market in Europe. Therefore, we need a pipeline infrastructure linked to the transportation of hydrogen. And so before 2030, the federal government wants to create a pipeline between Belgium and the neighboring countries such as Germany. A first phase that needs to be implemented between 2026, supported by our resilience plan. And on March 2020, so very recently, we have launched more than 2 billion euros for the transition, and we have also used 30 billion to create a pipeline between Belgium to Germany before 2028. Another important pillar is to reinforce the leadership position of research institutes and businesses active in the hydrogen field in Belgium. It's also to allow this that with the State Secretary for Economic Development, we have launched an initiative about fluid dynamics. It's a very expertise center for universities and businesses where we can test, develop technologies linked to hydrogen. It's an infrastructure that will be shared as well. Ladies and gentlemen, my mission today as a Minister of Energy is the following: make the energy transition faster, accelerate the creation of hydrogen infrastructure, adopt robust framework, and reinforce the research and the testing of hydrogen technologies. And I'm often asked what is the important element for this. And for me, it's very easy. It's collaboration and the need to work together. Collaborate with countries that have more renewable energy sources, such as Norway or Chile, for example. We see that with research centers, but also with the Commission and other EU countries. Energy gathers people and should also allow us to diversify our energy sources. The transition through a greener society and carbon neutral society may be the biggest opportunity for our generation. 250 years ago, the Rhine basins were the center element of a very important industrial reform. They created a wealth that we cannot deny today, and we cannot deny its importance either. Today, those regions have the opportunity to do that again. 2 centuries ago, coal was at the center of this, and today we have another energy source, hydrogen. Energy has always been a catalyst for transitions, and I can use the example of a statement made last week in Sénémaud, near the Meuse River. There's a company there that stated the creation of 700 jobs in Alsace in order to make the hydrogen transition, and they will also create in Belgium a plant that will be used in 2025, and that represents the investment of around 200,000 euros. And to quote our Prime Minister, the energy transition is not about politics, it's about costs. It's not a strategy of less, it's a strategy of more. In English, it's easier. Ladies and gentlemen, hydrogen is not only a strategy, it's not utopic, it's very concrete, and it's only the beginning. The idea here is that we will only succeed if all stakeholders work together. Collaboration and cooperation are essential at all levels. It is a shared responsibility of everyone, and we can reach our objectives if we work all together. We need renewable hydrogen on time. We know where, and we need to start now. And to do so, you can count on my support regarding infrastructure, and I will also count on you in order to help you in a more innovative way. Thank you.